first fat loss clinic. It always sounds better when you say body fat loss clinic. I'm not Dr. Booth, I'm Shelley Booth, and I don't need to be a doctor to help people reverse lots of health conditions. How do I know that? Because I've done it, and I've done it thousands of times. And if you're one of the people that I've helped reverse some sort of lifestyle problem, from depression actually to, oh my God, I can stand here all night. Here we go: fibromyalgia, inflammation, liver fat, visceral fat, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, stress, asthma, bad skin, irritable skin, breathing problems, sinus problems, gum problems, joint pain, arthritis, bursitis, tendinitis, any itis. I'm the woman for the job. And I'm not just making it up, honestly. I have literally worked with lots and lots of women who tell me, Shelley, like, I've been to the doctors, I've been medicated for X, I've tried the medication for X many years, X many months, nothing changes. In fact, they've got a whole load more new symptoms. When they start my programs, literally everything changes. Please, if you're one of these ladies, please pop it into the chat and just share a little bit about what you've discovered, what you've reversed. Might be type 2 diabetes. And diabetes, actually, pre-diabetic states are probably more prevalent than you would care to imagine. In fact, you might even be in a pre-diabetic state right now. If you are 1.5 stone, 2 stones maybe overweight, this is common, by the way, and it's completely reversible. And you have belly fat, probably liver fat, and you eat a lot of carbohydrates, you feel sleepy a lot, you feel sluggish, you eat, and when you do eat, you're still pretty hungry. You've probably got one, insulin resistance, which I'll come on to, but you've probably got pre-diabetes, which is a pre-diabetic state. So it's the state before type 2 diabetes. And here's the good news: you could reverse it in a matter of weeks and months when you look after what I'm about to share with you. So welcome everybody, so good to have you here. This is where I'm comfiest. This is what I love to do. My previous job, I was lecturer and project officer. I love to educate, I love to speak to people, but I love to do it in my own way. I'm quite a unique character, that's definite. And I like to have a bit of banter, and I like to keep it light, because when it's too serious and just too much, it's pretty off-putting, and I get put off quite easily as well. So I get it. So I'm going to try and keep this as light as I possibly can. I'm hoping that everybody could hear me okay. Let me see the comments. Suits me. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for popping your ill health reversals in there, ladies. Thank you. Okay, so I've got a ton of notes. I don't know if I'll get through them all, but I'm going to try. I don't want this to go any longer than half an hour, because when it becomes too long, you struggle to fit it in, and I don't want to put you off. Okay, so here's the current problems. Here's the current situation you probably find yourself in. And to be honest, most of my clients. So the first thing is slow metabolism. Your metabolism is slow and sluggish for a number of reasons, but you really struggle to lose weight. In fact, losing weight for you, no matter what you try, seems to be your nemesis. You can't do it. You maybe shift a couple of pounds and you put it on again. Your metabolism is slow and sluggish. You've probably plateaued in your weight. In fact, I'm 47. Lots of us are in our 40s here, 50s actually, some 30s, quite a lot 50s, but 40s, you start to plateau, don't you? And you struggle to lose the weight that you used to find easier. Not easy, but easier. Menopause, your hormones, they're going nuts. We'll cover that soon. You've maybe got hypothyroid. Now, hyperthyroid is a different thing. I won't touch that tonight, but hypothyroid, I think Leo's forgetting that I'm on live. Hypothyroid is the low thyroid hormone. So it's not hyper, high, it's hypo, low. So low thyroid hormones, which makes losing weight more difficult for you. So that's maybe you too. You've maybe been a prolific calorie counter. And when you're a prolific calorie counter, you're much more likely to be a low fat eater. And when you're a low fat eater, you tend to be a bit fatter. Go figure. I know the answer to that. And over the next while, I'm going to explain it all to you. Maybe not tonight. I can't tell you everything. The thing is, there is so much in this wee coconut of mine that I'm trying to give you as much as possible, but I realise that's not a good thing either. So I just want to go at this at a pace and a speed that you're going to get and be able to use and understand and take into your life tonight and tomorrow. You don't need to go and work it out. You certainly don't need to go and read any scientific journals. I've done all of that for you. You've maybe been a low-fat eater. Now, when you're a low-fat eater, like I said to you before, you tend to be or carry more body fat. But when you eat low fat, you need cholesterol. Things like growth hormone and ATP production. And every cell membrane needs cholesterol. But when you starve your body of cholesterol because you're eating low fat, your sex hormones, everything starts to diminish. You start to build up fat. But you think, how can I be fat? I don't eat fat. And that's the way a lot of people think still to this day, which is bonkers, because I've spent the past 15 years educating people on this stuff, but still people think this way. But even if you're on a statin, now statins obviously will do the same thing. It's like being on a low-fat diet. You'll struggle to make cholesterol because they're trying to reduce the cholesterol markers on a blood test. I will come to that at a later session. That's not for tonight. So that's some of the problems. Why do you keep failing? Why do you keep putting a belly on? You lose a wee bit, but you put it on again. You can't seem to get rid of it. Now, you might, like I've been saying to you, you might be skinny fat even. You don't need to be fat all over. And like fat around your hips and around your arms, that's not damaging, by the way. You're not going to shorten your life by having big hips. That's quite sexy nowadays, isn't it? Big bum, big hips. Own it. But when it's round your gut, when it's round your belly, that is not a good thing. And it's why I'm standing in front of you now. It's very, very important that you get rid of your belly fat, no matter what age you are, no matter how active you are, no matter how sporty you used to be. None of that matters. If you've got belly fat on there, we need to get it gone. And it's not for superficial reasons either. It's not to get the six-pack, although you love that. And my clients get great abs. They love it. It's for health reasons. If you've got abdominal obesity, that is one of the symptoms of metabolic syndrome. You don't want that because ill health is just around the corner. You might even have metabolic syndrome now. However, again, we could reverse that. Easy. You're bound to feel really frustrated if that's you. You've been to all the gyms, you've tried all the gym gear, you've got the ons, you've got the fancy Nike Zooms, you've got everything. You've spent a fortune on the trainers and all the gear. You've got Lululemon stuff. You've just gone nuts with all the stuff, but short-lived because frustration is still there because nothing's working. Yo-yo dieting. You're on it and you're off it and you're on it and you're off it. When I used to run my programme, Feel, Look, Be, which was a game changer, there was women off it and on it and off it and on it, and they just couldn't sustain it. Very, very sustainable. And people sometimes will say to me, so Shelley, do you never have like pasta or a pizza or alcohol? Yes, I do. But it's not my staple. I'm going to come on to food soon. But you can't actually sustain the lifestyle that I'm about to talk to you about. And I do. But it's not that I don't have things that maybe potentially I shouldn't have. I do. But it's not my staple. Let's get back to that soon. So you've tried everything. So you're maybe feeling like a combination of all these things. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you think, is this me? Is this me? You see a mirror in a shop and you're ducking and diving, you're avoiding it, you don't want to look in it. The camera comes out at a family wedding or something, you're off skates to the toilet, you can't bear yourself on a photograph. It's just not good. And then when you go on your holidays, you feel like shit. And who wants to feel like shit on their holidays? That's what we're living for. That's what we save up for. That's what we'll go away and enjoy. But yet you're having to cover yourself up with your sarong and your whatever you drink, sex on the beach, porn star martini, whatever you've got. And the more you drink and the more you eat on holiday, the bigger it gets. And you know that. And you're thinking, fuck. You get home, you think, what's the point? What's the point? The gym membership gets cancelled. Feel Look B gets cancelled. Shelley Booth, who's she? Cancel. Nothing works. But there's a reason for that. And I'm going to help you with all of it. And all you need to do is choose to follow my advice or not. And that's it. And everything is a choice. Absolutely everything is a choice. So, here we go. Hormones. Now, I'm not going to get into calories tonight because we used to think that a calorie was a calorie. So 10 calories of broccoli was the same as 10 calories of jelly beans. We now know that that's nonsense. That's not true at all because the hormonal impact when you eat the 10 calories worth of broccoli, it's very different in terms of your hormonal impact to when you eat the jelly beans. Completely different. And that's here, what I'm going to talk about, that's what matters. So I'm going to talk a bit about hormones, I'm going to talk a lot about a lot of things. But one of the hormones that I need to talk about tonight to kick this off is insulin. Insulin is produced by the pancreas, the beta cells of the pancreas, and its job is to reduce blood sugar. But we've got a problem. We've got a problem in that because you're prolific eaters, you eat all the time. You eat in the morning time for breakfast. You have a mid-morning snack. You then eat at lunchtime. You have a mid-afternoon snack. You eat at your evening meal time, your dinner time. You then have a supper. Really? You then have all these beverages. We'll have a latte. We'll have a macchiato, double shot, extra at Starbucks. We'll have a fresh orange juice in the morning because that's healthy. It's not, but you think it is. We'll have a water because that Shelley Booth says that you have to drink 2 to 3 litres of water, so I better have a wee glass of water. All of these different beverages, not the water, but the other stuff, on top of all that food, spikes your insulin levels. Now listen, the problem is, in the presence of insulin, you cannot burn fat. So there's so many of you running about just operating and living your life on your sugar content in your body. You're never breaking through that sugar content or that carb content, because carbs equals sugar. We'll get onto that in a minute. So you're never ever going to get into your belly fat. Never in a million years. In fact, see the training that you do twice a day or the 4 gym sessions that you do a week. They're not going to touch it either. You need to get into the insulin situation that's going on, and you've probably got insulin resistance. Let me draw a wee. I've not got this up just to be a wee bit of decoration and take the paint off my wall. That's how much I love you. So here we go. Now, this is going to look backwards. I'm going to have to work out how you flip the camera on Skool, but right now, here we go. So, if this is your cell, in fact, I'm going to try and write backwards. Let's bring it in. Turn that away. Right, if this is the cell here, and this is I'm writing backwards here, this is the pancreas. The pancreas's job is to produce insulin. Oh, right, wait a minute. Oh my God, this is decent. Is to produce insulin. So as the cell opens up, lets the insulin in, the cell then uses the insulin to bring blood sugar down, and it sends a signal back to the pancreas to say, oh, this is getting trickier. sends a signal back to the pancreas to say, look, switch off. We've got enough. That's ideal. That's perfect. However, when you've been doing all that eating, breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-afternoon snack, dinner, evening meal, supper, beverages, your pancreas has to produce lots of insulin to try and bring that blood sugar down. It's erratic. I mean, this is your blood sugar level all day, every day. Fat storage mode, not fat burning mode. You're not getting near fat burning mode. Fat storage mode. What we need is maybe a few blips, but more stable blood sugar. This is when you're going to burn belly fat, body fat. So what happens then? So there's lots and lots of insulin being produced because you're eating all day long, and the cell here thinks, wait a wee minute, too much insulin is really dangerous. So I'm going to need to put a blocker on here. So it puts a block on this cell and it's like, nah, no way, not happening, get to. So the insulin can't get in, so the cell becomes starved of insulin. So you're eating, insulin can't take your blood sugar down, so what you get is a buildup of insulin here. So there's parts of your body that have got a lot of insulin and other parts that don't. So insulin's starting to build up. The cell is being starved. That's why, and that's one of the reasons why when you eat, you still feel hungry. You ever feel that? And also you're tired a lot because your body is not getting the fuel adequately because you've got insulin resistance. The cell's like, no, I'm actually not letting anything in. So you start to get a buildup of all sorts here. And in particular, you're going to start building up belly fat. Big blubbery bellies. No matter how much you train, it won't touch it. So that's why you can't get rid of your belly, no matter what you do. It's because you've been going to maybe Slimming World, maybe Weight Watchers, maybe Scottish Slimmers, maybe Canadian Slimmers, maybe something, and they've got you tracking calories. And when you track calories, you're much more likely to eat low fat because there's less calories in the low fat, but it's full of crap. In fact, can I say it? It's full of shit. Binders, bulking agents, emulsifiers, you name it, toxins, chemicals, it's full of the stuff. Protein bars, cereal bars, drinks, cans of Monster, this, that, and the next thing. It's low fat everything, but it's high crap. And when that happens, you're going to run your metabolism sluggish, slow and sluggish, and it's going to be a battle for you because menopause is coming. We'll call it middle-age spread. It's not. It's just a lifestyle issue. It's because we don't know better, because we've maybe been working, or you've been maybe working with a personal trainer or somebody that says, track your calories, count your calories, and it's made you obsess about the numbers and not the quality of the food. We don't count a single calorie. I've got a full six-pack. I don't count a single calorie, haven't done for gazillions of years. My clients don't count calories. We don't weigh our food. We eat real food. And you know what? You lose fat. You lose body fat quicker than anything. You'll lose it quicker than low-calorie food all day, every day. Added to that, you'll feel full. You'll be satiated. You'll be nourished. You'll have energy. You'll have loads of energy. You'll be thinking, right, okay, I'm eating loads of fat. I'm eating much more. I'm not counting my calories, but I feel amazing. Your belly starts to go. Your body starts to sculpt. You feel fantastic. You think it's me. You think, Shelley, it's amazing. You might be right. However, it's not me, it's you. You've just made the switch. You've stopped eating. Have I got the space here? Let me bring it in. I'm not going to be able to write all this backwards, so I'll work out a way to flip it in the future. Carbs. Now, carbs are made up of fibre, starch, and sugar. Now listen to me. Fibre, absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with fibre. In fact, in the presence of fibre, your gut will be really happy. Your gut bacteria will feed on the fibre instead of feeding on you. We'll get into gut some other time. That's like 25 degrees worth And I don't mean temperature, I mean university degrees. The gut is a lifetime of learning. Starch. Veggies are starchy, some of them, but not enough to cause you any problems. This is the problem here, sugar. Now, one of the challenges tonight is there's approximately 266 names for sugar. The menaces have called it lots of different names. So you don't know what's in your food because it's a name that you can't even pronounce. So do your research with your kids and actually post to our page. Go and get a label. If you've got ready meals and processed food in your house, no judgments, none at all. Look at the label and research the names on that label. And I'm telling you, there'll be sugar in absolutely everything. If it's been made in a factory and it's not got one ingredient, like steak has got one ingredient, fish has got one ingredient, you know what I mean? There's no label on there. We don't need to know what makes fish. But for all the other things, there's a whole list of ingredients that you should not have. Your body deserves more than that. You need real food. So, let me bring the light back. Are we following? Is everybody following along? Yay, thanks for the love, everybody. Loving the doctor looks at you, thanks so much. My writing's shown backwards, is it? So I'll watch this back. Signal. See, every day's a school day, literally. So that's reading normal then. Oh, well, that just solves all my problems. Yes. Oh my God, thank you. Every day literally is a school day. That's amazing. So, do we all understand this then? So, long story short, the pancreas produces insulin in response to all the food that you're eating. But when you're eating all these different foods, in particular sugar, which we'll get to again, your cell's like, nah, not having any of it. Insulin resistance happens. A signal goes back to the pancreas to say, we're needing more insulin. So you start to produce lots. And eventually you'll run out. That's not a good situation, is it? And you'll know about it if you've run out of insulin because you'll need it synthetically. Okay. Right, so the challenge is you need to find 1, 2, 3 or 4 of the 266 names for sugar and post it to the group. Please involve your family in that. It's important that our children, our grandchildren know this stuff. This is why I'm teaching you. Okay. I've still got loads to get through. So what causes insulin resistance? 2 things, write these down. The overconsumption of carbohydrates and eating too frequently. That's why. In fact, if you go to the classroom, I've got a full recipe book and some meal plans in there for you as a bundle. You'll see it. If you don't have it, go and get it. It'll be the best thing you buy. So too frequent eating and overconsumption of carbohydrates. Sugar. Now, glucose. Glucose is the fuel for life. But we don't need to overeat glucose because our body makes glucose, called a process of gluconeogenesis, which really means your body makes it. And your body can make glucose from fats, proteins and ketones. So you don't need to keep eating because you think, oh, I'm going to die, my body needs glucose. Your body's that clever that it can make it. And it can also make cholesterol as well. Cholesterol's that important, your body will make it. So don't starve yourself of cholesterol. That's the worst thing you could do. Unless, of course, you have a predisposed condition that's genetic potentially and your doctor's had a conversation with you, in which case you'll know about it. So, how do you know if your insulin resistance is going away? Well, you can get a test and it's called HOMA-IR. But there's a much easier way, and there's quite a few easier ways to work out if your insulin resistance is going away. Here's a few. Okay, so you've come onto my plan, you're getting loads of information, and you think, right, okay, I'm going to just go with this. I've done the 5-day blitz. I'm going to continue that for a wee while, but you're going to be needing something else. I know that, by the way, so you bear with me. You stay around. I'm needing something else to keep me going here. 5 days isn't a long time. I get it. But you will know if your belly fat starts to go away. That's one of the indicators. The belly fat is starting to go, and you will be delighted because that's a problem area for you. Your blood pressure. You might even have high blood pressure right now. When you start eating this way, your blood pressure will naturally come down. So if you're on blood pressure medication right now and you start the 5-day blitz, you need to consult your doctor because your blood pressure will reduce. So if you start to feel a little bit woozy and a little bit dizzy, you speak to your doctor, doctor, I'm eating this meal plan. He's not going to argue with you because it's amazing food. I mean, the food is tremendous on the meal plans. You cannot argue with our meal plans. They're not damaging at all. They're anti-inflammatory, health promoting. Unless, of course, you're allergic to something on there or whatever, and that's yours, that's your personal stuff. But your blood pressure will come down, your blood sugars, your HbA1c and your insulin will be back to normal, so you'll get a check for them. You will have no dawn phenomena. Now that just means like when you get up in the morning and you've not had anything to eat, your blood pressure, your blood sugar is high. That's a dawn phenomenon. That will start to go away over time. Your energy will be through the roof. These are all indications that your insulin resistance is going away without the HOMA-IR test. You'll be satisfied when you eat. Remember, told you, the cells like, no, chaps, not having it. There's too much insulin here for me. It's just a no. So your cells start to become starved. You start to be really hungry and really agitated and really tired all the time. You've got slumps. You just want to sleep. You're, as we say in Scotland, you're crabbit. You're ripping people's heads off. Fast temper. Your cognition's crap. You can't think. You're calling it brain fog. No, it's this. It's not menopause. It's this. We need to fix this. And you know you've got this if you look down and you see a big belly. That's you. You've got insulin resistance. It's okay because we could reverse it. Easy. Energy's through the roof, satisfied when you eat, and you're not hungry. Your hunger goes away and you're not craving carbs. That's a huge indicator that you've worked your way out of insulin resistance. Okay, I'm definitely not going to get through all of this, but there we go. So, sorry. I make notes, but I just jump about anyway. Right, so there's two things that I need you to know about. So now that you can see the board, I'm using my hat here to rub off my pen. I'll bring you in a wee bit and I'll do this properly. I'm so delighted you told me that it's, you're seeing it. Rub a bit harder. Right, in you come. Right, so there's insulin resistance. Resistance here, and there's insulin sensitivity. Can you see me? Yep. Insulin sensitivity. And basically, they're opposites. They're complete opposites. So, insulin resistance. Cells block insulin, which we know about. There's no signal back to the pancreas. And generally, people with insulin resistance have 7 to 9 times more insulin in their body. That's scary. That will affect you, and you will not feel good if you've got this much insulin in your body. All of those symptoms you'll have that I talked about, and some. You'll feel crap. You struggle to absorb nutrients, which is maybe why you've got intolerances or gut issues. You think it's some sort of gut problem. There's lots of people had diverticulitis and celiac even, and lots of different gut issues, or so they thought. But when they start to fix their diet like this, things start to clear up like quite miraculously, and they're like, so did I not have that then? I'm like, well, you tell me. And they go back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, no, surely not. Honestly, this happens. Please, if that's been you, put it in the chat. You can't lose weight here, so weight loss is a big fat no. And you're always just going to convert the carbs that you're eating to fat. carbs to fat. So you're never really getting out the bit, which is why you feel so crap. However, insulin sensitivity is what we want to work towards. So let's go here. Right. What will happen when you, in fact, let me give you a list. Resistance training. So working with weights, doing some resistance training, some high intensity training, maybe some Tabata, stuff like that, would promote insulin sensitivity. This is the ideal. This is not what you want. So resistance training, fasting, that looks like farting, but it's fasting, honestly. Fasting. So in fact, the perfect fasting window, and I'm going to get into fasting with you soon, is 16 hours of fasting and an 8-hour eating window. So 16-8. Don't worry about that just now. If you don't know about it, we'll cover that soon. Walking. Any exercise, really. Sleeping. Lots of quality sleep. Inflammation. Reducing inflammation. Sorry, what's cough? Veggies. Right thing, eh? Eating lots and lots of veggies. Veggies are absolutely amazing for everything. And in fact, when you start to clean up your diet, you'll automatically start cleaning up your liver, but you'll help that process by eating green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables. We'll talk more about them soon. Okay, so this is what you want, insulin sensitivity. This is what you don't want. So you'll know which camp you're in right now. If you've got loads of energy, you've not got a belly, you're walking, you're active, life's good, you're probably going to be here. If not, you're struggling to lose weight, you're craving carbs, you're tired, you're snappy, you've got brain fog, or you think you've got brain fog, you've got cognition problems, your memory's useless, your sleep's all over the place. This is you. So the good news is you are in the most amazing hands with all of these ladies, because many of them have been through it with me before. And well, thank you for the love. And they've completely reversed it. So you're in safe hands. This is not to scaremonger you. This is to reassure you that you could change this if you want to. And like I said to you at the start, everything is a choice. Okay, right. Not to go into this too much tonight. There are some hormones that I want you to know about. I'm just going to mention them to you without going too deep. So fat storage hormones we have, and fat burning hormones we have. Now, the problem is when you eat sugar and carbs, you're going to ignite, you're going to rev up the fat storage hormones. When you eat fat, you're going to induce the fat burning hormones. So carbohydrates, you're going to store. Fat, good fats. Now, when I say fat, I don't mean deep fried fat. I don't mean seed oils. Seed oils are the work of the devil. Please, you cannot eat seed oils from this day on. Make a vow to me. From this day on, Shelley, I will not eat seed oils. In fact, I'll go a stage further. From this day on, I will go into everybody's house that I love and care about, and I'll go into their cupboards and I'll have a look. And if I see a seed oil, I'm going to take it out and put it in the bin. And I'm going to explain to them massive amounts of inflammation, and it parallels obesity. In fact, the ill health, in fact, it's been linked to cancer and lots of different things. They are horrendous for your health. Vegetable oils are not vegetables. They're seed and bean oils, and they are hugely inflammatory. Stop eating them. Coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, organic ghee, organic butter, organic ghee, amazing. Tallow, beef tallow, use that. So, the fat storage hormones, listen, estrogen, and we're basically estrogen, aren't we? However, when you're coming into menopause, progesterone drops so much that it might look like you've got an estrogen dominant problem. So you would want to avoid estrogen type foods, which are GMO. So anything that's got pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, you need to go organic. And you need to eat lots of green leafy veg so that you can decompartmentalise the environmental estrogens that are in your liver. Get them gone. Get to. Don't need you. Cheerio. Thanks for the love. Eileen, thank you. Estrogen can make you fatter. It can make you blow up. In fact, and you might take HRT or birth control or something that would sort of rebalance it. That's a personal choice, by the way. But you need to avoid GMO and you need to go organic. Okay, insulin, we've covered that. So that's the other hormone that will promote you storing fat. Cortisol, now that's an adrenal hormone. Your adrenals are tiny little triangular glands that sit on top of the kidney. This is the kidney. This is the adrenals. You've got two. And they are responsible for producing hormones like your fight or flight hormones, adrenaline, and cortisol is another one. Now, cortisol, we need cortisol, by the way, but when cortisol's too high, usually caused by stress, your adrenals are burning out. But it's your adrenals, listen, that will support the ovary. So when we're getting near the age of 52 and the ovary's starting to go into retirement, the adrenals, just by magic, are like, ta-da, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to produce the hormones that you're not producing anymore. Ovary. Amazing. But if you've been stressed out, you've been through the mill, these poor wee adrenals are burnt out, and you've heard of adrenal fatigue. If you've got adrenal fatigue, man, you're on your knees. You can't go to work. You're totally burnt out. You're sleeping all the time. Your mood, you're maybe even depressed. Not a good situation. So we need to do something about your stress. That's a whole different conversation, but stress is one of the reasons. So you'll get weight gain. You might even get what's called a moon face because you've got the weight gain, but you get it in your face and you'll know about it. You might even get the buffalo hump here, the big hump here, the fatty hump. You might even get that, and that's an adrenal issue. That's a cortisol buildup. If this is you, you'll feel it. You'll know about it. You'll get fat piling up on your abdomen, right round the band, the waistband here. A cortisol belly, we call that. The buffalo hump. So cortisol, when it's too high, it will stop fat burning. And that might be because you're stressed out your mind. So we definitely need to do something about that. So walking, vitamin B1 and vitamin D are very, very important if this is you. Vitamin B1, research it, and vitamin D. In fact, get vitamin D3 with K2. And that's all about the transportation, the absorption and the transportation of the goodness that the supplement's got. So you need to be able to absorb it, but you need to be able to transport it to where it's needed, into teeth, bones, and all the places that we need it, and not sitting inside your arteries. I appreciate this is a lot of information, but I think it's information that you need. So please try and keep up. On the flip side, we've got fat burning hormones. Here's some of them. I won't go into them. Testosterone, insulin-like growth factor 1, growth hormone, glucagon, adrenaline, and T3, which is produced by your thyroid. So, in a nutshell, you might have insulin resistance, and I think a lot of you will. Being honest with you, I think a lot of you will have insulin resistance, which is probably why you're here. You're not happy with what you see when you look in the mirror, even if you've got a skinny body like legs and arms, and that's okay, but you've got a belly that you're unhappy with, and you've got a whole load of symptoms that I've probably explained here, and you would love to get in shape. You need to change your nutrition. It's the only way. You can't outtrain a diet that's fueled on sugar. You just can't. And the problem is sugar is in absolutely everything. It's frightening. It really is. And it's not going to get any better. In fact, it's getting worse because what we've got now is all of the replacements for sugar, which are even worse. And a lot of them are carcinogenic and have research backing up the fact that, they are cancer causing. So is that a good situation? Absolutely not. You cannot beat eating real food. Eat veggies. And there's some starch in the veg, that's okay. Doesn't matter too much. If you can avoid white potatoes, do. Eat sweet potatoes if you can. The 5-day blitz, by the way, no matter when you see this, the 5-day blitz is a fantastic, phenomenal start. It's packed. I'm sure you'll agree, full of education and knowledge that you could use straight away. You don't need to swat up on any books or anything. You could just start it there and then. Please be reassured that I will help you work towards optimal health. Everything we do in here will help you work towards optimal health. I'm not one of these people that'll ask you to track calories and no matter how many calories is in the food, eat that because we need 1,500 calories a day. No matter what it is, just eat it. I'm not that person. I'll never be that person. I never have been and never will be. Your health is very, very important to me. And that means you need to eat real food. Good, wholesome food, hopefully organic, because we don't want any sprays, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, you name it. Sometimes it's hard to get organic, I know, but where you can, you should. So, take a breath. Nearly 45 minutes in. I hope that was useful, everybody. Please let me know. I'm not going anywhere, actually. It's just like a bit of a chat with you. There's 24 people in. Please, if you've got any questions, I'm happy to take them. If I can answer them, I absolutely will. And let me know if that was useful and if you would like another body fat loss clinic, because there is just hundreds of topics that I could talk to you about. Hundreds of them. I've been immersed in this world for all of my life, since the age of 18. And I've told you, I'm 47 now, and I've never stopped learning. I know a lot of stuff. I don't know a lot of stuff out there, but I know a lot about this. So I could talk to you all day about how I could help you. So if it was useful, please, very useful, fabulous, more info, brilliant, that's great. Yes, how does having a gallbladder affect weight gain? So if you don't have a gallbladder, I don't know if you get any symptoms, but the gallbladder and the bile that's produced is responsible for breaking down fat. So if you're eating a higher fat, say for example a keto, not that we do paleo, we don't do keto, although keto is fine, but if you were to do a keto diet, so much higher fat, your body might struggle with that because you don't have the gallbladder or the bile to break it down. So you might get a backup, or actually a slow and sluggish metabolism. In fact, you might be in a lot of pain. You might feel sick or nauseous. So it definitely will affect you. And you need to basically write a diary of how you feel. And because a lot of people who don't have a gallbladder sort of, and I'm not saying you do, but they sort of make that an excuse so they can eat all the crap. Yeah, I don't have a gallbladder, so I'll just eat pasta and carbs and stuff because there's no fat in there and whatever. And before you know it, it's just eating a pile of crap all day, every day. But because you've not got a gallbladder, you still potentially will get away with eating fats, but you just need to go slow, be careful, slowly introduce stuff and see how you go. But purified bile salts will be great for you. Please research them. Purified bile salts will give you the bile salts that you don't have, so you can actually break fat down. And actually, it's very important because bile is responsible for, well, fat-soluble vitamins. So say when you take vitamins, you actually need fat to be able to absorb them. And if you don't have fat, because you're not eating it, because you don't have a gallbladder, you're going to really struggle to absorb the goodness from the food. So please research purified bile salts. I don't know who asked that, sorry. Why are you not on national TV? Love that. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, that was Karen. Brilliant, Karen. Hope that was helpful. Do have a cottage cheese question. Right, listen. Cottage cheese, you need to read the label, right? If there is no emulsifiers in there, emulsifiers tear up your gut. Now, your gut and brain axis, the gut and the brain constantly speak to each other. See, in fact, forgot to tell you, see all of this insulin resistance in the brain looks like Alzheimer's. So this is your cell here. So this, the wee Pac-Man, insulin resistance, the cell's like, nah, not having any of that. Away you go. So this could be a cell in your body, which when that happens, you'll start to develop lots and lots of different we'll call them problems. And it might look eventually like metabolic syndrome, which is a whole host of different symptoms. But in the brain, it's Alzheimer's. So this is really, really serious. It's so reversible, but it's serious if gone unnoticed or, to be fair, uncared about. 4 stone lost. Amazing, Tracy. Yay. And you look incredible. 6 days. Somebody's 6 days, Eileen. Great to see you. Loving the doctor look suits you, and you likely know more than them for a healthy lifestyle and mindset. Well, there is no secret here, ladies. Doctors, in terms of their nutritional input, is, you might as well call it nil. So all medicine and pharmaceuticals and big pharma, this stuff, not very much. There are some really, really great doctors. Some functional medicine doctors are fantastic, and I follow quite a few of them. I was on antidepressants for over 26 years. 4 months on Feel It Be, I reduced them, stopped them. Tracy Anderson. Ladies, throw some love her way, will you? Woo! Amazing. Improved energy with hypothyroid and insulin resistance. Fiona Ross, hiya, brilliant. I used to suffer from gastritis, but since following Shelley's plan, it's gone completely. Yvonne, whoop! Chuck that out. Please, I would love you, because there's only 22 people on here. There's 500 and something on our chat, on our community. Please share this on there. Would you do that for me? See, after this, see your wee paragraphs that you've put. Can you just go and chuck that up onto the page and say, ladies, you need to see this, because honestly, this is what I've done as a result of our work. Please, don't keep it to yourself. Bursitis, yeah. Was that me? Did I say that wrong? It's scary once you start reading labels how much shit is in our food, even things labelled as healthy. Yeah, absolutely. Right, ladies, as always, please do not take my word for it. Research everything that I've said to you. Go away, do your own research, be your own masters in your own health. I'm just here to help you and open a little tab or pop the lid open on all the amazing things that you could learn. Okay, right, lots of love. If you enjoyed it, I'll do a wee poll later. I'll look to build this in. This is going to be exceptional. See this, what we're building now? It's next level. I've got an announcement to make. I don't know when I'm going to make it. It might be end of the week. But if it's not the end of the week, it's not far away. It's huge. And you are going to absolutely love it. Okay, right, lots of love. Take it easy. See you later, ladies. I've got another session starting in 10 minutes. I must go. Speak later. Bye-bye. Thanks for all the love hearts. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody.